Compare yourself, history lovers, because we're stepping into the shadowy corridors of ancient African kingdoms, where espionage met a fate as calculated as it was chilling. It's the late 15th century, around 1480 CE, and you're standing in the bustling trade hub of the Mali Empire, the air heavy with the scent of gold dust and roasted millet, the distant hum of merchants echoing from the markets of Timbuktu. Here, amidst the grandeur of mud brick palaces and the intricate webs of trade routes, African kingdoms like Mali, Songhai, and Benin developed methods to handle spies with a precision that blended terror with tactical genius. These weren't random acts of cruelty, but deliberate strategies honed over generations, designed to protect secrets and maintain power in a world of rival empires and shifting alliances. This tale unveils the resilience of these kingdoms, turning torture into an art form of survival, leaving you to ponder the minds that crafted such terrifying precision. The West African savanna during this era was a crucible of power and intrigue. You can picture the Niger River winding through the landscape, its banks lined with thriving cities like Gao and Janneh, where kings like Mansa Musa and Askia Muhammad ruled with iron resolve. These kingdoms, built on the wealth of trans-Saharan trade, gold, salt, and slaves, faced constant threats from rival states and foreign explorers, like the Portuguese probing the coast. Historical records, such as the Tariq al-Sadi by Abd al-Rahman al-Sadi, detail how espionage became a critical tool, with spies infiltrating courts to steal trade routes or military plans. To counter this, rulers established sophisticated security networks, employing trusted advisors and enforcers to root out traitors. Punishment was public and precise, a message to deter others, reflecting a society where survival hinged on secrecy and control. One method stood out for its calculated terror: the use of sensory deprivation. You might imagine a captured spy, his wrists bound with leather cords, led into a darkened chamber beneath the Benin palace, the air thick with the musk of damp earth. Historical accounts, like those in oral traditions recorded by European travelers such as Leo Africanus, suggest that spies were subjected to days of isolation, their senses stripped away with blindfolds and earplugs made from wax, leaving only the drip of water to torment their minds. This wasn't mere confinement, it was a psychological assault, designed to break their will while preserving their life for interrogation. The precision lay in the timing. Guards monitored their reactions, adjusting the deprivation to extract confessions without causing permanent harm. Villages spoke of these chambers in hushed tones, their eerie silence a testament to the kingdom's control. Life in these kingdoms was a constant dance with danger. You can almost feel the heat of the dry season as you traverse a Songhai caravan route, where merchants and warriors alike kept watch for infiltrators. The Mali Empire, under Mansa Musa's successors, faced internal dissent and external raids, making espionage a deadly game. Historical evidence, such as artifacts from Gao's royal tombs, revealed chains and wax plugs, tools of a punishment system that balanced terror with restraint. Spies, often captured during trade disputes or border skirmishes, were subjected to these methods, their endurance tested as part of a broader strategy to maintain stability. This resilience turned torture into a tool of governance, a shared cultural response to protect the kingdom's wealth and unity. The African worldview shaped these practices. You might hear the soft rhythm of a griot's drum as a spy underwent his ordeal, his punishment infused with spiritual significance, believed to appease ancestors angered by betrayal. Sensory deprivation was tied to the idea of cleansing the soul, with priests overseeing the process to ensure the spy's spirit was humbled before questioning. Yet this approach puzzled later Islamic scholars, who favored public lashings, leading to tensions between traditional rulers and religious elites. Spies shared tales of survival or collapse around campfires, their stories preserved in oral epics like the Epic of Sundiata, revealing a resilient spirit. These narratives suggest a society where precision and terror coexisted, punishment becoming a bridge between justice and ancestral honor. But the question lingers. What drove these kingdoms to perfect such terrifying precision, and how did it shape their spies' fates? As you stand in the shadow of that darkened chamber, you might wonder what other secrets of their security methods lie buried in the sands of the Sahara, waiting to be uncovered. Welcome back, history seekers, as we plunge deeper into the enigmatic realm of ancient African kingdoms, where the precision of spy torture reveals a tapestry of survival and strategy. You last joined us in the late 15th century, around 1480 CE, standing in the shadowy chambers of the Mali Empire, marveling at the sensory deprivation techniques that turned terror into a calculated art. Now, let's explore how these methods evolved, forged unexpected alliances, and tested the limits of human endurance in a society balancing power and peril, a narrative that brings us closer to the heart of their chilling justice. As these kingdoms refined their techniques, the precision of torture grew more sophisticated, blending tradition with psychological mastery. You can picture a Songhai guard in Gao, his face stern yet focused, adjusting a wax earplug on a bound spy, the chamber illuminated by the flicker of an oil lamp. Historical records, such as the Tariq al-Fatash, indicate that by the early 16th century, under Askia Muhammad's reign, sensory deprivation was paired with controlled exposure, brief moments of light or sound to heighten the spy's disorientation. This method, detailed in oral histories preserved by griots, aimed to extract confessions while preserving the spy's utility, a balance achieved through meticulous timing. Guards trained in these arts passed down their skills, turning torture into a craft of endurance, a resilience that protected the kingdom's secrets amid growing threats. This expertise linked kingdoms across the region. You might imagine a Benin envoy sharing confinement strategies with a Mali emissary during a trade summit, their shared goal to safeguard their realms from espionage. Archaeological evidence, like the iron chains and wax fragments found at Benin City's royal enclosures, suggests a network of knowledge exchange, with tools standardized across Mali, Songhai, and Benin. The use of sensory deprivation spread, with Songhai adapting it to include rhythmic drumming to confuse spies, a technique noted in Portuguese accounts from the 1500s. These alliances bolstered security, creating a coalition of enforcers who valued precision. Yet this collaboration drew resistance from Islamic traders who saw it as unorthodox, pushing rulers to justify their methods in secretive councils, their chambers a haven of whispered tactics. The challenges of a turbulent era fueled these innovations. You can almost feel the dust of a caravan raid as you traverse the Sahel, where Songhai faced Moroccan invasions in 1591, their spies critical to survival. Confinement cells, often carved into cliff sides, became more elaborate, with spies subjected to days of silence, punctuated by sudden shouts to break their resolve. Historical accounts, such as those in the Chronicle of Ahmed Baba, describe how some spies endured, their minds hardened by the ordeal, while others confessed under the strain. The precision extended to physical methods, light bindings to avoid injury, ensuring spies remained viable for interrogation. This resilience turned torture into a psychological shield, a shared cultural response to the chaos of empire building. Spirituality remained the backbone of these practices. You might hear the soft chant of an ancestor invocation as a spy underwent his trial, his punishment seen as a spiritual cleansing to purge betrayal. Sensory deprivation was believed to align the spy's soul with the kingdom's harmony, with priests monitoring the process to appease the spirits. Yet this fusion clashed with Islamic jurists who favored flogging, leading to debates in royal courts. Spies shared tales of surviving the darkness or succumbing around campfires, their stories preserved in griot songs, revealing a defiant spirit. This tension shaped their identity, their terrifying precision a bridge between justice and ancestral wisdom, practiced under the watchful eyes of kings. But the mind wonders, How did the psychological toll of these methods affect the spies' loyalty? And what hidden costs did the kingdoms bear? As their techniques deepen, the enigma of their inner world grows, leaving us to ponder what drove them to perfect this terrifying art and how did it influence their legacy? Welcome back, history enthusiasts, as we bring the haunting tale of African kingdom spy torture to its gripping conclusion. A story where terrifying precision shaped an empire's survival and left a legacy etched in time. You've journeyed with us to the late 15th century, around 1480 CE, exploring the sensory deprivation chambers of Malaya and the refined methods of Songhai, marveling at their calculated resilience. Now, let's witness the climax of this saga, where these practices faced their ultimate challenge and their influence reverberated through history, offering lessons that lingered to this day. As the 16th century waned, these torture methods reached their peak amid escalating threats. You can picture a Benin guard in 1550, his hands steady as he blindfolds a captured Portuguese spy, the chamber beneath the royal palace alive with the tension of an impending invasion. Historical records, like the accounts in the Historia de São Tomé by Portuguese chroniclers, note that during the height of European encroachment, kingdoms intensified their techniques, combining sensory deprivation with controlled water exposure, dripping on the spy's forehead to extract vital intelligence. Archaeological evidence from Songhai's Gaol ruins reveals chains worn smooth by use alongside wax plugs, indicating the scale of these operations. But the strain showed. Some guards faltered under the moral weight, and spies occasionally escaped, their confessions fueling rival strategies. This resilience turned precision into a desperate shield, a final stand against colonial pressures. The decline of these kingdoms marked a turning point. You might imagine the last use of these methods in 1591 as the Moroccan invasion shattered Songhai, a spy enduring his ordeal as the kingdom fell. The rise of European powers, documented in the Description de l'Afrique by Leo Africanus, saw traditional rulers lose control, their torture chambers abandoned as colonial governance took hold. Yet the practices didn't vanish. Oral traditions in modern Nigeria and Mali recount similar techniques used by local chiefs into the 19th century, a thread of survival woven into resistance against outsiders. This legacy influenced early anti-colonial strategies, blending ancient precision with new defiance. The spiritual resonance was profound. You can almost hear the final chants to ancestral spirits fade as Islamic reforms under Moroccan rule condemned these methods as barbaric, with imams favoring public executions. Guards faced exile, their tools confiscated, but their stories endured. Fragments in griot epics and village tales preserved by descendants speak of spies broken yet revered, turning their torment into legends of endurance. This fusion of terror and spirituality left a legacy of psychological strength, a lesson in survival that outlasted the kingdoms. Today, their tale echoes. The precision of sensory deprivation mirrors modern interrogation tactics, from waterboarding debates to psychological profiling, a thread of control linking past to present. Their resilience shaped African resistance narratives, influencing global discussions on justice and power. As you stand in the shadow of that ancient chamber, consider this. What lessons from their terrifying precision still guide our understanding of survival in conflict? The answer might lie in the whispers of those Saharan sands, waiting to inspire anew. Thank you for joining this journey. Stay tuned for more mysteries from history.